Hi, I'm Glenn Waring. I run Riverina Leadlight.
Do you want to talk us through the process of putting together a LED light?
Well, I'll start with the design. And they're actually, there's lead light and there's copper foil. There are two different ways of putting together a design, but the lead lights are usually for much bigger items, although you can make mirrors and hangings out of lead light, but it's a little bit heavier than using copper foil. But the principal starting point is pretty much the same. You need to start with a design, usually my own nowadays, because I like to create something that's a little bit different, and rather than the standard lead light designs that you sometimes see, which are just a fleur-de-lis and fairly simplistic, but I rather like artistic designs. And draw the design up, cut the glass, because each piece when it's cut has a score line. You score it with a cutter, so if you do it in a straight line, it was like so. There. So you can get all your curves. So the more curves there are, the more complex it is. It's probably getting a bit small to work with, to break. The bigger the piece, the easier it is in that sense to break. I'll just look for the score line. But in doing so, to do that, you need to kind of trace over your glass, and cut each piece.
So you've got the stencil on the table here. You put the piece of glass on top and then follow the lines?
Yes, or cutting templates is another way to do it. If you have mirror glass, you can use it. You need a template because you can't see it. So it's just a. And each piece of glass feels different. You get a feel for the glass. And once you get your piece, if it's got a little bit of roughness on there like so, that's where that comes in. And you can just grind off the section, because each piece needs to fit very well together, because the lead seats itself. It's the edge lead, which goes around a rectangular panel. And then you just place the lead like so. You need to cut it too, so they fit together without too much of a gap in between. And once you then have it all together on a building board, you do your soldering and flip the other side, do the solder the other side, and then take it out, and once it's finished, polish it.
So where do you get your glass from?
Well, from a variety of sources, really. There are a few outlets in Australia, not a lot at the moment. I've been obtaining my glass from Brisbane, and it's delivered in form of sheets, huge sheets which can be cut to size. I try and buy the glass that works best for the designs that I do. I probably have 100 or 200 sheets, 150 sheets, I don't know how many. I've shifted them a few times, but I never count them as I go. It's quite a lot, and each one probably weighs about 8 kilo. So the glass. There are just so many different types and varieties of glass, from the glass that's translucent, the glass that's transparent, and other glass which is opalescent, which doesn't let a lot of light through, but has quite a lot of striation and design in different colours. Your reds and mauves and greens, and there's some pretty spectacular types of glass.
When did you start working with lead light?
Well, when I was in South Australia lecturing at the university, or it was now the university, it was the South Australian College of Advanced Ed then, in Creek Maths. I was posted over there, took up a position, and just to relieve the day-to-day stresses of the job, I decided I'd enrol in a course. And it went from there. I spent 3 or 4 months there from the time my contract finished in South Australia, and then brought it back with me from there. And I thought, well, I might as well have a go and see how it goes from there. Now I really enjoy doing it.
You have a lot of lead light pieces around your house. What's your favourite piece that you have in your house here?
Oh my goodness. Well, my most favourite piece is one that I don't have here, but I'm about to pick up from a gallery down on the south coast, and it's a circular mirror with Tasmanian timber frame, about 1 metre in diameter, and has eucalyptus red gum blossom a circular border around the mirror section. And that was one of my most favourite pieces, I would say, that I've done, would be the study door and the kitchen cabinet. Being iridised, it has a kind of what they call a shot look, a bit like fabric. We used to say had a shot look about it, and as the light catches it, it reflects the different colours. And it's a little bit like, I suppose, looks like when you pour petrol on water, it has that kind of purpley, greeny, metallic reflection on it.
So we'll go and have a look at couple of the pieces around your house?
Well, yes, you're welcome. Yeah, there's
Great, let's go.
Some on the walls and in the room, so I'll take you on a grand tour. I'll show you this one. The RSL wanted a panel that they could put somewhere in the ex-servicemen's club, hopefully, if the ex-servicemen's club was prepared to put it up somewhere. And it comprises the three badges representing the Navy, the Army and the Royal Australian Air Force. The Royal Australian Navy and the Australian Army and the Royal Australian Air Force, I should say. And the Navy and the Air Force, I've just created a clear glass for the background, and the Navy badge with the gold anchor and the blue background and the Royal Crown on top, and then the Royal Australian Air Force badge with the eagle. And I thought the eagle might pose a bit of a problem, designing from scratch, but it came up quite well. I was quite pleased in the end with the way that went together. I thought it might be a bit difficult to build with so many bits on the wing, but I was just waiting at the moment to be installed.
Are there any limitations to what can be made into a LED light, design-wise?
Well, there are some difficulties, such as some of the Australian flowers. Anything that's really fine and requires a lot of small pieces, because it's not like stained glass where they paint and kiln fire it, so you can put a lot of detail into it. But as each piece is individually cut, anything that's too small and too fiddly is really, really difficult to create. So that's one of the worst limitations with it, but it doesn't preclude what you can actually create.